Welcome back to another episode of Scryer's Room. I am your host, Fanfare.
I'm Kevin.
I'm Mario.
I'm Grimtowns.
Got him here for another episode.
Yep. And today, we're going to talk about the Game Freak leaks.
Oh my goodness.
Alright, so I do not identify as a Pokefucker. But I have lusted after Lopunny for quite some time. I'll be honest about it. I'll be open about it.
Tony has some bunny furry tendencies. He really likes those characters.
Who's the one? Eevee? I'd fucking Eevee.
Yeah,
that's like a cat. This doesn't even have like two legs.
Eevee is one of the popular Pokefuckers, as are all the evolutions. They're just designed very well.
Yeah.
There's a whole meme about Vaporeon. I'm sure you're all intimately familiar with. But no, as far as the fucking bunnies thing, I take no responsibility for this. We have brought this up on a previous episode. I blame Lola Bunny and whoever designed that character.
I take no responsibility for my actions.
Not even kind of.
Remember being a kid and just beating off to Lola Bunny watching Space Jam?
Yup. Literally me now, JP Mario staring at me.
Well,
Fuck.
I was also going to support your claim that it actually starts with Bugs Bunny.
Yeah, and drag.
Yeah.
Literally kissing Elmer Fudd.
And
then they can say the hot one.
Remember being a kid and beating off to Bugs Bunny and drag? Hell yeah, brother.
That one I don't. That one I actually don't.
This one's called Bugs Bunny.
But
You guys remember being kids and seeing Pepe Le Pew just try to rip that cat? And
Just
God, dude! So toxic! So toxic!
He's French, it's fine.
Yeah.
God damn.
Is not even a crime to live.
But yeah, these Game Freak leaks come out, hit the world by storm.
Wait, what is a freak leak?
Okay, so
Game Freak is the company.
Game Freak is the company that made Pokemon.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, like, Pokemon before it was an anime was a little shitty fucking game on a cartridge that no one thought would sell well.
It was a game on a cartridge about collecting bugs because the autistic guy who decided that would be a really cool idea
Was right.
turns out was the greatest mind of all time in regards to branding and identification of like just getting little creatures.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, to support this, they've had to create a lot of lore, like where does this take place? And he's like, man, I don't know, Kanto, like in Japan. And he's like, I mean, no, but yeah. And so middle, we keep creating again and again and again lore, and now turns out a bunch of that lore has been leaked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I didn't read all of the leaks, but the one that took the internet by storm is that of the generic Pokefucker Pokemon, we have a new contender. And it is your beloved Fire Badger Typhlosion.
Literally the final evolution of my favorite Pokemon, by the way.
Which is walking through me. I'm super normie.
So
You gotta talk to me like I'm 3.
So, in Gen 2, the second set of games that they made, new set of starter Pokemon. It's no longer Charmander, Bulbasaur, Squirtle.
Right.
And one of them was Cyndaquil, and I loved Cyndaquil. And he turns into Typhlosion, he's doesn't look like a sexual being. He looks more like a bag that's on fire.
He's a badger.
He's a badger.
He's just a badger. Like, a few of the Pokemon are, like, clearly, like, Lopunny is the Playboy Bunny. Like, they just did that. It was made to be fucked.
Yeah.
Like, a few of the other ones are, like, literally hot girls. Like, Gardevoir is literally a hot girl. Like, they did that on purpose.
Beginning of the end, we call Gardevoir.
Yeah, that's how it started. That's basically where, like, it reached critical fucking mass. That's so many people's waifu. Point being,
Meanwhile, the
badger is not one of those.
Yeah.
He's a badger.
Okay, looking back on it, Mewtwo, there was something inherently sexual about Mewtwo.
Yeah, I could
right?
see that. I could see that. There's a lot of deviant stuff about that.
I mean, I'm gonna be real with you. Technically speaking, there was something inherently asexual about Mewtwo. That's a cloning joke. High five.
Oh, he's a good boy.
I am the dumbest of ass.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah,
you can find.
But yeah, no. So these Game Freak leaks, the one that came across my purview is that there is a story about a woman being tricked by a Typhlosion disguised as a human into having babies together. And I understand
like a
your
weasel.
face, your fucking face.
So, do they explain
Jesus
how
Christ.
it did that?
By fucking.
You know, they probably did. I'm getting all my information secondhand.
Like, did he put on a mustache and a pair of glasses?
Was it a bunch of them stacked in a trench coat?
So Typhlosion didn't used to be just a fire badger. There's one of the games you go back in time, and then you have like a bunch of like essentially the caveman version of these fucking Pokemon. And Typhlosion used to be half ghost.
See, that actually leads more credence to this because it's based on like a yokai story or like one of like the paranormal stories where like trickster deities would just trick women and be like, oh, I want
And it turned into a dude, banged some lady, and a half Pokemon comes out. I presume it's killed with water because it's a fire type.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think the village comes up and tries to murder it or something, and then like the badger has to murder the people. I don't remember the outcome. All I know is, they have confirmed canon Pokefuckers. That's real. That's just a thing in Pokemon.
Oh
you all have to live with it now. I'm not a pervert. You're just ignorant.
They also have design notes for like a bunch of gym leaders, and like one of them, Skyla, is like a flying type gym leader, and the actual design notes for her are sexy Latina pilot.
Yes! That's literally what they wrote?
Yeah.
Oh, man!
That's one of the things that people were
Awesome.
mad about, because they're like, you're really thinking about what these people are all about. Not in your pretend way, but like straight up, like, we need a sexy Latina airline pilot so that she can use birds.
I'm gonna be all in on Pokemon now. Are you
Yeah!
That's all you had to say.
Marketable! No, I always wondered if, like... Because, like, there's a whole phenomena about, like, the Poke Girls being, like, overtly sexualized, and, like, whether that's intentional or not. So
It is.
It is 100%.
Yeah, well, there you go.
We now know it is.
Well,
no.
Sexy was one of the words that they wrote, not me.
Even before that, one of the artists for the show. So if you ever wondered why Ash has a revolving door of female companions, he goes like, well, they're like,
Ash's hose.
yeah, pretty much. They're just like, well, why did like what happened to Misty? Like, why did you guys like decide Misty was like gonna go do other stuff? And then the guy's response was that we felt that the young boys needed new eye candy every now and then.
There you go. Damn, savage.
Was Vince McMahon the head?
You could call
So
the man.
these artists
I'm
were
going to name
thinking
my
about
champ Vince McMahon now.
thinking about eye candy, which is a 10-year-old girl for
God, that's
10 to
problematic.
however young
God, that's
age
problematic.
boys.
10 to 18-year-old boy.
Yeah.
10 to 31-year-old boy.
10 to 31-year-old. I didn't know any better.
Fuck! God
The joke
damn.
is that I'm 31 now. and I
You're only
hate it.
31?
Yep.
Yeah.
Why do you look like you're 45? I'm so
So
sorry.
you want to see something terrible?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it's Silver Fox.
Wow.
I've had that since I was
Can I touch
17.
I'm touching
All
Disney's
this
hair.
silver
It's
hair.
glorious.
Yeah, his body's under so much stress just to keep
man.
him alive. It's bad.
Yeah.
Eating him alive.
Yeah. I keep getting cancer and I have seizures and I'm a very unhealthy man.
You should,
He
so,
was
you
meant
should,
to be
you should have
eaten by
a seizure on
lions
the
a while
pod. It
ago.
would really do well.
I have.
Are you really?
So
Oh, no.
I don't have what is typically called a grand mal seizure. I have what's I
Little
think
pussy seizures.
well, so it's actually called like a small mal.
A small mall.
where-
That sounds like a Pokemon.
Or an absent seizure, which means that I either space out and then like
Yeah.
can't hear anything else. Like when you see like in like people getting shell shock in movies, that's what an absent seizure is like half the time. The other half is you just turn off, you just pass out.
Yeah, I've seen him go down a few times.
So like
yeah.
you know the videos online of like guys on roller coasters freaking out really hard and then they just
Yeah,
like
yeah.
drop and then they pass
Yeah.
out. That's technically they psych themselves into having a small seizure.
Jess, you want to hear one of the most dystopian, saddest things you'll ever hear?
Yes.
If Kevin has too much joy in his life, if
Yeah.
he's laughing too hard, he'll go out like a light switch.
Everything that brings me joy is very nearly killing me at all
So
times.
if I just like tickle him really hard right now.
yeah.
You could
No.
turn him off like a light switch.
Yeah.
And then I'll have a migraine for a whole day.
I'll be extremely vulnerable. Like for like the next 12 hours or so, I'm in. I don't remember the technical term for it, but it's like there's like a recovery period because your brain isn't supposed to be having seizures. It doesn't
Right.
like it.
Right. Yeah.
So then I'll just be in like a sort of a daze, and then I'll be like feeling sick and shitty and migraine. And that'll be because I accidentally heard somebody say something that was pretty funny, and I was like,
God.
and then that's it. I like a light.
Yeah, he was meant to be eaten by lions a while ago.
Yeah. It's going pretty good, though.
Yeah, no, he's had a great run considering.
Not one lion.
Not one lion.
I wanted to be an artist, and then I have horrible arthritis in my hands because I have like a defect in them, and there's everything that I've tried to do has been like, you're going to find out a new way your body is failing.
The moment I understood the weakness of my flesh, it disgusted me.
Oh, I'd absolutely
Go full IMAC, yeah.
Yeah, I'd 100% upload my brain to a robot and then just be like an evil computer flying through space.
Like tentacles, fuck
Yeah.
Brain in a jar, meta.
Bring on the gene seed. Wait, we're talking about fucking Pokemons, right?
Yeah, well, we were. You know,
And your pick was the cat.
My pick, yeah, Eevee, right?
Yeah.
They're like a fox.
So,
Like, aren't they?
they're like a lot of things.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's,
Cat, dog, fox.
Yeah, because it turns into Espeon, and Espeon is visibly a cat.
Kevin, gun to your head, which evolution are you fucking? I'm the one with the gun, by the way.
Now.
I'm the one with the gun, by the way. I do this.
Well, I have to be considerate.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
Jolteon spiky is what it means.
Yeah, yeah. They're a bit too masked. They've
Yeah.
always been a bit masked.
And frankly,
I think Flareon's hair is dumb.
Gun to his head. Is he frozen in shock? No, he's giving the serious thought.
I am, yeah. Yeah.
He's been expecting this for a while.
So by the way,
I would pull some
He's
shit
been
like
actually
this.
waiting for this moment.
you said you didn't like Flareon's hair, and my first thought was like, well, I don't like Flareon's moveset.
Yeah,
So-
they're kind of a cock. They're kind of a cock.
They're not very good. That's why no one uses them.
They're a physical attacker who's fire type. That wasn't even remotely useful until Gen 4.
That wasn't even useful till Gen 4, and then they chose actively not to give Flareon more than one physical fire move until like Gen 6. And even then it was one of the shitty ones. It's Fire Fang.
Yeah, Fire Fang is a cock move for cocks.
It's good at low levels, or like
It's for cocks.
if you just need coverage. But you know what? You don't need coverage. You don't need coverage for your stab. Your stab's supposed to be your main... I'm a fucking Pokemon fucking dork, by the way. So.
Kevin's kind of a big deal. He used to do the competitive bracket in Fortran and beating all those
I
other
don't
weebs.
think that we need to keep saying that.
Listen.
I don't want to be associated with 4chan.
Too bad!
Those.
You can never escape, son! You can never escape.
I was a child. I knew no better. Anyway, so if I have to fuck an evolution, probably Vaporeon. Everyone knows.
That wet ass.
He said it!
Just that squishy.
I mean, I don't want to fuck
wet.
any of them. If I could be bros with one of them, I know which one I'd pick.
Okay.
Sylveon. Sylveon's easily the best one.
Who's Sylveon? Why am I asking?
Sylveon is the cute trans-looking one. It's like pink with like,
So-
bows
tight.
and ribbers. Yeah,
So let me explain.
I love Sylveon. This is big Tony.
Little
Fir-
hermaphrodite.
First three evolutions are Jolteon, Flareon, Vaporeon. That's fire, water, electricity. They're pretty good. Flareon isn't. But then they added
Shots fired.
They added dark types. So they added a dark type and a psychic type evolution, Espeon, Umbreon, and one of them's pretty good. One of them's only circumstantially useful. And then they decided that we're gonna finish it up. They used to have the stats and typing system was all physical attacks are these types, all special attacks are these types. That's why physical fire type was shitty. All fire attacks were special types. So having a super high physical attack stat did shit for Flareon.
Yeah.
So they decided there's only two types left that are special attackers, gave them a leaf type and an ice type. And I actually really like Leafeon, but then they added fairy type, which was supposed to be the thing that evens out dragon because dragon type was always the most OP one.
Right.
And they made Sylveon. And Sylveon is the most busted thing ever.
I love them so much. They have like
Fairy
a
type
Moe heart
is
attack.
already fucking like the most overpowered now, and Sylveon really makes use of it, and it's great. And it's not a bad design.
I love the design. They use the trans colors. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but it's gorgeous. I love Sylveon.
Okay, Normie here.
Yeah.
Normie here.
You able to pull it up?
I would. No. I don't want you to pull it up. I want to tell you. I would fuck Jigglypuff, or Wigglytuff, Because
Wigglytuff is a bit too butch for me.
You know that's some good cushion for the pushing right there.
Mario's face, ladies and gentlemen, is just of abject disgust.
Well, the problem is
shoot me.
It's more like fucking a beach ball, though. They can fly by just inflating themselves. So you go a little too hard once, you slip, and suddenly it's flying into the other room, and the jig is up. And everyone knows what you were doing in there.
I know there's a fucking nerd listening to this right now just beating off. I know you're out there, you sick son of a bitch.
And if you are out there, we'll make a Patreon. We'll talk only about this if you like.
Make sure you like and subscribe. At my channel, Fanfare on YouTube. More Pokefucking content!
Exclusively from the Scryer.
Oh, fucking Christ. No, speaking of degenerate behavior, it's Gobtober. So
God.
I've been recently trying to expand my Twitter presence because I'm so like, despite having a degree in
that is a haven for goblins.
It is fact. You don't even know. So, despite having a degree in media production and criticism, I do not understand social media. I just don't like putting myself out there. I do not enjoy content creation. But in order to promote this podcast and promote my various other projects I'm using, I got to put myself out there. Mm-hmm. So some folks just decided arbitrarily that October is Gobtober, and all of the short stack green biddies have been posting like fucking crazy, driving me buck fucking wild. It is a problem. My lifespan is being shaved away. I can't get anything done. I fucking go to Twitter and it's just goblin porn after goblin porn, and I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, like, God damn it, let me get some work done. Yeah, it's my weakness.
That's why you're all listening to this episode in late February. By the time that we got this all edited together, Tony was pretty busy in October.
Yeah, God bless, dude. Like, you give me a short stack with big floppy ears, I'm sold. And that's all these goblin biddies be fucking posting. It's a goddamn problem.
It's a goddamn problem.
I can't get anything done.
You're like the Republican that hates gay people because they're gay themselves.
Yeah, that's where we're at.
These fucking goddamn goblins, I can't stop jerking off.
Yeah, just I can't even. I don't have words for it.
Okay. So if anyone listened to the last pod I was on, we talked a little about Vince McMahon and chest shitting, a little bit.
Just a little
bit. If
bit.
you haven't listened to that episode, you should go listen to that episode now. Pretty good tie-in plug,
pretty good,
right?
Yeah, pretty good stuff.
All right, which Pokemon are you shitting on their chest?
So am I doing it out of spite, or am I doing it because in this situation, I'm getting off to it?
I have an answer.
Correct. Yes, all the above.
That's what McMahon
Mario.
I do this as an act of love. I would shit on my muck.
Yeah. Muck is literally a pile of shit.
He is a pile of shit.
He'd love it.
He'd be happy about it.
He'd be stoked.
And then we just hit minimize, stockpile, toxic spam, and then the entire other team is just so pissed off because I'm using everything that you're not allowed to use in actual official rules. Because Muck's a good boy like that.
That's how you... Yeah, what
take a shit on the trash.
Kevin knows
treat.
his Pokemon because
It's
that
like
was
a
an
dog
excellent
treat
answer.
for him.
That was an excellent answer. I'm very impressed.
Yeah.
I knew that Kevin would have the answer to that question.
Oh, I was ready.
So I'm stealing his answer. I'm looking over on the other table and writing it down on my quiz because that's a better answer than what I could give.
It's like the Reddit post of if you could fuck anyone living or dead, like in history, who would it be? And the guy's like, I met my wife when we were young and she got sick and now she died and I'd give anything just to have like one more night with her. And then the next comment is, that's beautiful. I also picked this guy's dead wife.
Yikes! Savage!
Degenerate internet kids.
God damn. What? We used to be a proper country.
A proper country where people wouldn't say, I picked that guy's dead wife.
We used to be a good country with 2 water fountains.
We used to be a good country, and then something happened about 2,000 years ago, and now there's all these fucking people around. No, this country should be for one thing and one thing only. Bears. Water buffalo's a close second, but that's what America's for. Bears and buffalo.
I believe America's #1 threat is, in fact, bears.
I remember. You remember Stephen Colbert? When he had the Colbert Report?
Yeah, good times.
Good times.
Good times in America.
Did you ever watch Colbert Report or Daily Show or any of those? Either of you?
I did not.
Not nerdy enough.
I mainly just watched stand-up comedy on Comedy Central back when they actually did that.
Yeah, I remember when that was like
Back
the
in
thing
my
they
day.
did. Yeah, like
Yeah.
you just tune in and it was just some guy doing stand-up.
Oh yeah, they had Comedy Central Remix. That was a thing, and then Remix. Remember how awful the early 2000s were? And that was just an excuse for them to do reruns of things.
Yeah.
That was just a lie.
I didn't give a fuck.
Okay, goblins. I play Magic the Gathering, and I don't know why. It's a compulsion in me. I will find the shittiest goblin card ever, and I have to keep it. I have to keep all the goblins. I don't know why.
Magic goblins are top tier for sure. They did a great job. Like they're red, so they're just aggro as fuck.
Right.
Most of them are 1/1s and just little shitty effects. A lot of them have like suicidal tendencies.
I'm gonna be so mean.
A lot of sacrifice mechanics.
Actually, Tony,
you just blow up goblins
they're all
and
green.
do shit.
Boo!
Leave.
Boo! Boo this man.
So I ordered something on Amazon. Well, I put it in my cart and I need to pay for it, but I don't have money because I'm irresponsible. I'm getting a clown horn.
Oh, he's doing it.
Yes.
He's getting it.
Yeah.
He's doing
I'll
it.
ruin our recordings with it.
I can't
You
wait.
son of a bitch.
There's no way that it's going to pick up well.
Tony's laughing now,
Oh,
but he's
fuck.
actually ringing on the inside right now. He's
Yeah.
like,
God fucking damn it. I knew this day would come.
It was merely a matter of
It
time.
was only a matter of time and resources.
You just got to give him a McMahon. Shut up! Shut up, Kevin!
That's just what the podcast becomes. In 6 months, it's just me hitting the horn and him screaming, shut up as hard as he can.
Doing Vince McMahon impressions.
I don't know, but something about goblins that's been tickling me is how, like, it just goes to show how, like, if you give people any sort of creature or instrument or object for enough time, they will, through, like, a modest proposal, find a way to fuck it. Like,
Oh, yeah.
goblins went from
A
being...
modest proposal.
High five.
Nothing you just said is a
Oh,
modest proposal.
yeah. But I mean, like, it's like a whole bunch of subtle changes over time where it's like, well, what if we make, them
Yeah,
like...
a bunch of little concessions that eventually end up fucking a Typhlosion.
Yeah, well, what if instead of having, like, pencil-thin legs, you kind of give him, some decent thickness there? And what if instead of having, like, warts and stuff, we just, smooth that down a bit? What if instead of having, like, like pointy, jagged teeth, they just have, like, regular pointy teeth, which are kind of cute. Oh, and they'll get a little moe fang, too. And, we might as well make that lip a little bit more full while we're at it. And,
Yeah, some good DSLs. On
yeah,
the goblin face.
and then it just middle. I'm horny all the time, and I'm angry.
My
It's-
wife can never listen to any of these episodes.
It's like how a bunch of animals slowly have been evolving into crabs, but it's the opposite, where a bunch of everything that we are creative with slowly evolves into a girl I want to fuck.
Okay, so who is the creator of Pokemon? What is his name?
Let's find out.
I don't know.
I think
I'm
it's
surprised you don't know that.
Ken Sugimori, but that might be a different anime man.
One of the richest men known to man. They
Right.
have to be.
And he's just all that money has just gone to his trade set.
No, this whole thing is bug collecting.
Bug
Yeah,
collecting,
it's
okay.
bug collecting.
What
He
is
has a
he?
net
What has he
made of
said
silk.
about Pokefucking being canon?
Ken Sugimori, yeah.
Has he made a comment on Pokemon fucking being?
I don't
canon?
think that he's the kind of autistic that I don't think he's made any sort of like announcements ever besides game is coming on this date.
Or is he just like, obviously they're gonna
But
fuck up?
frankly, this is all official lore. So in a way, it's him saying it.
Yeah.
It's official.
Oh, I can see him being
Wait.
the type of man who being like, "What do you mean people want to fuck them?"
Wait, so
like,
how?
yeah.
Wait, okay, where? How did it become official lore?
So, like when they're making these games and stuff, they make up their own lore and everything for like different reasons
Right.
for everything.
Right.
But like whenever you're making anything creatively, Tony can attest, and I'm sure anybody who's made anything creatively can attest. A huge amount of it just gets dropped on the cutting room floor. It's still a fact of the thing that you've made. You've decided that's true.
It'll never see the light of day.
But
though.
it'll never see the light of day. There's no home for it in the games or the anime or anything. And then one day, because we have computers, some guy gets a huge, like 2 terabyte file of like all of the like art and like lore assets, and then he posts them on the internet, and everyone's like, "Oh, this is so cool! Look at all the Pokemon we almost..." And the Typhlosion fucks her. What? And now we have this.
Yep.
That's amazing.
Yep, the Forbidden Files.
Yeah.
The stuff people were never supposed to see.
The sexy Latina files.
The past 20
Fucking
years
gigabase.
just have been reframed for me again with Pokefucking. Okay, wow.
Yeah.
You're
That's
welcome.
always been a
You're
thing.
welcome. See, that's why you listen to this podcast. It's to really broaden your horizons and become a true wizard. Cursed knowledge is essential to being a wizard. You have to learn things that you never wanted to know.
That's right.
That's
how
how you open up
Archaon
your...
became the Everchosen.
Yeah, that's literally how I read
Cursed
movie Ever
knowledge.
Chosen. That's what happened. He was banging out a demonette, didn't know it, then he knew it, he was
Yeah.
mad about it, and middle, and now you destroy a planet, you know?
Which
And that's what we're all about over
I
here.
wonder if we're awakening an Archeon as we speak. I wonder if
I
some
hope so.
some-
Everything's a prequel to 40K.
guy just listens to this podcast and is like, you know what, Tony? After hearing you rant about fucking Lapunnies, I just want to blow the whole fucking world off.
I was going to say, it's just the episode of South Park where Butters becomes possessed by the book, and he's like, I have to kill the
Kill John Lennon!
Kill John Lennon!
Kill John Lennon!
Two things. First of all, my mom went to school with Mark David Chapman, the guy that killed John Lennon.
Oh man, okay.
She knew him.
Was
It
he cool?
weird. I think my uncles probably bullied the shit out of him too.
Yikes.
So
is very
sorry,
strange,
Beatles.
Yikes!
Second of all, I'm a cyborg now.
Oh.
I don't know if you know, I got surgery. I'll show you this cool fucking scar on my chest. I got
Sick
surgery.
nasty.
I got an implant put in for my sleep apnea. So I'm like one step closer to being a fucking space marine.
They make
He's
implants
doing
for
it,
sleep
man.
apnea?
Yeah, and they run a wire up to my tongue nerve, and so it like pokes my tongue out so I don't like choke myself with it.
Huh.
Yeah.
I just imagine the cyberpunk music playing.
Dude,
Very quietly, because it has
we're
to go through
getting
his
there.
chest.
That's a good bit.
What if like they made 40K and they thought it was all make believe, but then someone listens to this podcast and then 40K becomes a reality, and we just made the Emperor.
The inception of the God Emperor is
Yeah.
me talking about fucking Lapunny. Good to know.
I love it.
That's devastating to the lore.
There's some chud fuming at the mouth right now.
Yeah, Space
Oh,
Marine 2
man.
got a lot different.
Well,
all the
importantly-
Emperor's psychic energy is going to making sure people don't know that he wanted to fuck a bunny Pokemon.
That's why no of the Slaneshi people are fucking.
well, also importantly, almost nothing is known about the Emperor
Yeah.
Yeah.
or his motivations.
Yeah,
So-
well, you know.
He was a bug collector.
Probably. He's lived many lives.
Like, we found Tyranids on Terra. Ooh, those aren't mine.
Somebody else put them in my locker.
Those- Maybe it's a Pokemon or something. Who can say?
God, it's sexy as hell.
Why don't you leave old Daddy Emperor alone for a little while?
Hand me that. Come here, Squirtle. Vince McMahon with his Pokemon. Come on, Squirtle.
What do you think his favorite Pokemon is?
Huh?
What do you think Vince McMahon's favorite Pokemon is?
If Pokemon were real, Vince McMahon would have like a roster of like all the fighting types and everything.
Oh, yeah, you bet, dude.
But like we would find out that technically that's his assistant's team, and then his real team is all like just like you open up and it's all of the like sexy women Pokemon, but they're like horribly abused.
Yikes! Yikes!
You can only carry 6 at a time, you see.
Yeah.
All the other ones are in my PC.
You want some more time out of the Pokeball?
Heavy fucking stuff.
You want some more time out of the Pokeball?
I remember when he got that guy who could puke on command.
Oh my god.
And there was like a clip of him and basically interrogating this guy about his ability. He's like, "You gonna get sick for me?
You're gonna get sick for me?
You're gonna get sick for me?"
It's my favorite Vince McMahon moment ever. I think it's on the documentary The Dark Side of Wrestling. Sorry, we've
Not enough people
infiltrated the podcast
after hearing Vince McMahon speak to them. Not enough people are like, "Excuse me."
He's just like you can just see behind his eyes. He's just a fucking super predator. So this guy comes in, and his gimmick is that he can make himself yak. Okay, he's like, and he comes in, and Vince McMahon's like very like homely. He's like, "Hey, buddy, how you doing, sport, champ, blah blah."
Right.
And then quickly the super predator comes back like, "All right, you."
From friendly to abusive
They're like
immediately.
in the board, like casting this guy, and he's like, "All right, you gotta get sick for me," and then he's like, "All right, let's do it." And he's gonna puke! He's gonna puke! He's just screaming at this man. And then the guy
Who
pukes
thought
and
that he
he's
was here
like-
for a job interview.
Yeah, and then it goes quickly from like Super Predator to like, here's some cab money, now get the fuck out of here energy. And it's just, dude, yeah.
He gets bricked over his face with words and is like, "Okay,
Yeah.
you gave me what I want now. Get the
Yeah.
fuck out of here. I don't want to
Get
work here
out.
anymore." Yeah, what a fucking nightmare.
So wait, am I hired? And then you just like, squeal of tires.
Exactly. Oh my god.
Pretty big segue here. So, Space Orcs in 40K.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So do you think... If
I think Vince McMahon is a space orc.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you think...
No,
It's an
they
insult?
they don't fuck.
Yeah, he's too horny. Yeah.
I think at a certain point he'll get past fucking and he's going to get even weirder. He's going to be 100 years old, have a Master Roshi body, and it's going to be fucking chaos.
Yeah. No, I feel like this is a disservice to orcs. Orcs are too pure, all right?
I agree.
It can't be a McMahon, all right?
How do you think the orcs would react to
But-
McMahon trying to shit on them?
They would respect the fucking alpha.
He is pretty big.
100%. They'd be like, you new warlord. You.
Oh, he's too
You new
small.
boss. He's too small.
He's a bit strong.
Average
yeah.
orc is like his size or bigger.
Okay.
Yeah. He's not a knob.
Yeah.
He's a... Knob is the big one, right?
Knobs are they're like the
big ones.
elites.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fucking
You got it right.
muck.
I have a
Doesn't know
very
what a knob
tertiary
is.
knowledge of 40K. I do my best, but it's mostly bits.
Yeah, he can't be the war boss. War boss is like 10 feet tall.
At least.
The race that can't fuck gets named after a euphemism for dicks. Knobs.
Oh, man.
It's short for noble.
Is it really?
Oh, I never knew that.
Deep lore cut from Mario.
I never
I know
knew
a lot
that.
about
Lore
orcs.
cut. I
Orcs,
know.
Orcs are
Orcs are my favorite.
his yeah.
That's his shit.
orcs are my jam.
He's actually read, I think, all of the orc fiction, like the novels and stuff that
Pretty
are
much
currently
all of
out. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Because a lot of them are recent, like that. So they,
Orcs haven't gotten love until like the past like 8 years. It's bullshit.
yeah, that's actually pretty endemic of the actual IP in general. A lot of the Xenos and a lot of like the human brain human factions don't have a lot of stuff about them. That's actually even a problem in the old world stuff too. Like there's like a series about dark elves and like a series about high elves. I could be wrong with the high elf thing, but like I recently started listening to Malice Darkblade, which is the dark elf series. They're so deliciously edgy and just over the top nonsensical all the time. Like,
There's a Vince McMahon.
yeah, there's a Vince McMahon. If I ever fucking but a twink. If he was a twink instead of a fucking macho man, because they're all lithe and thin.
Would you guys watch a series, Son of Vince McMahon, who's an angry, evil twink man?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I would.
He
but
wants to
like,
rebel against his father, so he's not going to become like a great big muscle man. But he's still got all of the same fucked up shit in him.
Yeah. Who is that? That's what Marathi's son, right? The dragon guy.
That's Malkith. Malice Darkblade is so there are a few dark elf cities. Each of the cities is held by a dreadlord who answers directly to Malkith, and then underneath them, those are the oh my god, what is their fucking name? I think the Druchii. I think the Druchii is their name. And then underneath them are the Volcars. The Volcars being like the big dick elites within each of the dark cities. And so Malice is the son of one of the Volcar, and then a sorceress that he fucking stole. He's like, you're getting in my house, bitch. And like just, and the agreement they made of like, I'm a sorceress, I could just curse you and shrivel up your balls and make your gut full of snakes. But instead of doing that, you're going to give me a baby. You're going to give me a son. And the Volcar was like, shit, I have a bunch of legitimate children. So I don't really want a bastard running around. But you know what? I need your Seeress powers, so Malice was born. And so the whole series is about him trying to murder his entire family. It's it's pretty spectacular, dude. It's so edgy. It's so over the top. All of Dark Elf society is, what if everyone was just the worst always, and like your daily life was like banking on it. Like everyone double deals, everyone is lying about everything. No one knows what the fuck they're talking about. Okay, good example. He steals this like skull of like a demon basically from his half brother.
Classic.
And they're like fleeing the city because like the murder temple guys. Oh yeah, by the way, his brother is part of the murder temple of Cain. Like he's like a high acolyte of that place. He's like a chosen one.
Base.
And so they send all the murder acolytes to go murder him. And him and his retainer, his knights that are with him are like fleeing the city. And they get to the gate, and the gatekeeper's like, yeah, what if I just don't let you out? And he's like, well, I'm going to bribe you with a sapphire. Oh, hell yeah. And so he takes a sapphire, And then as they leave, they just start shooting them anyway. Because, like, well, I already have this fucking sapphire.
And also, I let you out. I didn't say I wouldn't shoot at you.
Yeah, exactly. Right? And so, literally, they were like, okay, so clearly what he said was, instead of letting me go, he's just going to see if the guy's... He's double dipping, you know? I'm going to take your money and the murder god's money, and I get rich both ways. It's a great job.
Yeah.
Great job.
All of his retainers are basically trying to murder him, except like 2 of them, because they're just spiteful, shitty assholes. And one of the things that really tickled me, it tickled me super hard. They've been traveling through the wilderness, and this is like the frozen north. If you're familiar with the old world of Warhammer, like they're basically in North America. If North America was overrun by lizards and monsters.
Yes.
So they're fucking off to like the far north, the Chaos Waste.
There's like a racist joke I could make there or something.
You could if you reached hard enough, you know. Yeah, it fits the IP.
I wanted to interject. I get lonely when I don't get to talk for a while, so I just think about stuff like that. Go on, Tony.
Anyway, so
He doesn't talk for 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah.
so they're fucking off to the Chaos Wastes, and like it's been rough. They encounter a bunch of hill folk that try to skin them alive, and then make a deal with the hill folk to not get skinned alive. And the hill folk abandon them to some beastmen folk, and the beastmen are trying to eat them, and they double deal with the beastmen to not get eaten. It's fucked. And so, right before they meet the beastmen, they're like lost in the Chaos Waste, and they're running out of food, they're running out of rations, they don't know where the fuck they're going. And a bunch of beastmen ambush them, and they slaughter them like dogs, because they're in full plate, and these are literally like Unga Bunga, hoof-having spearmen.
Yeah.
So, there are 2 of them alive. And they're like, okay, well, we gotta get some answers. We gotta get some information. We're gonna interrogate these guys. And basically, Malice has the skull of the demon. He brings out like one of the only clues he has is a name like Kul Hadar or something like that. And one of the beastmen's like, oh, I know that one. They don't speak the same language, but he's like responding. He's like, oh yeah, I get that. So like, okay, clearly you're important. But what about your friend here? What do we do about him? and Malice's lieutenant, this chick Lunara, pulls him aside and is like, dude, morale's been pretty low lately. This is a bit of a fucked expedition. We should torture that guy to death. It'll be a great bonding experience for the men. They really could use this.
Team building
and
exercise.
Malice is like, you know what, Lunara? That's an excellent team building exercise. I'm really happy you brought that up. And then they just describe the beastman who's not going to get tortured to death, watching in horror as his friend is literally filleted alive in front of him. And all the Dark Elves are just giggling and having like a fucking schoolyard chum time. He's like, ah, isn't this great? And he's like, just being murdered. And then they cut to like...
Screaming in Beastman tongue, I don't understand why. I said that I would lead you to the fountain of eternal life.
Right, yeah.
And they cut to the next day, and all of his men are like smiling now, and they feel refreshed. And Lunara's like, yeah, boss, we really needed that. Thank you. And I'm just like, what the fuck am I reading, dude? How do you have a society at all? Like, what the fuck?
I was gonna say, like, if you're building a society and there's a temple, not just a death god. We're lousy with death gods in reality, but a god about the unjust killing of your own people.
Murder, yeah.
Murder.
Right.
The god of murder, the unjustified, passionate impulse of killing.
And it's the most popular church in your country.
It's the official sanctioned one.
Me, I would try to get people into, I don't know, rabbinical school, just any other like kind of just any mode of thinking.
Vincent Mann read that lore and then he was like, "Oh yeah, this is going to be the Attitude Era of the '90s." Yeah, that makes sense.
Dude, basically going back to the fucking chuds. Talking about last episode, the people who don't think 40K is satire and then they read Dark Elf stuff and are like, you know what? Our society should be more like this. Like, I really think we're fucking up right now by not sacrificing babies to the murder god. Like, what are we even? We used to be a proper country.
We've made a huge mistake.
Fucking Christ.
Pivoting back to orcs and touching on goblins.
Yes. Tony loves touching on goblins.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. In 40K, not only orcs have been getting some love, but Gretchen have too.
Yeah.
Gretchen.
Oh,
So-
yay! They're so cute.
Yeah, Gretchen, wildly less significant than goblins are
Oh,
in like fantasy or Age of Sigmar. But recently, there's been a few characters who are like Gretchen, and then like they're fantastic. So there's 3 off the top of my head. Makari.
Makari's the goat.
Who's that's Gazkul's little guy. And then there's Snaggy Littletooth,
What a great name! What a great name!
Snaggy Littletooth sounds like he didn't have a name until you asked him about it, and he had to come up with something on the spot.
They don't have names until they're given one.
That explains it.
Yeah, otherwise it's just you. But yeah, Snaggy Littletooth.
That's how Vince McMahon runs things.
He's Uftek Blackhawk's little guy, one of them.
Okay.
Who's
Blackhawk?
Uftek Blackhawk, yeah.
Black Cock.
Black Hawk.
Hawk.
Like
Alright,
like the helicopter, not
Okay,
the
got it.
category.
And he's a Grenchen who's convinced
He caught it.
he's going to take over everything. He's gonna conquer the orcs one day.
Yes.
It's just not his time yet.
Yes.
And then there's the
Big Scam energy.
Red Gobbo series,
Red Gobbo's the GOAT.
which Red
Yes.
Gobbo is now solidified by this 3-part series as Red Gobbo is not a person, it's a mantle.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's passed on to Gretchen. And they're the leaders of the committee.
Committee.
What's the committee? It's wherever the Red Gobbo is. Like, it doesn't actually exist. But it's essentially the communist revolution of the Gretchen to rise up against the orcs. And it's fantastic. I love it. So, like, going kind of with the whole, like, torture thing, like, and Dark Elves and how they're just the worst. Gretchen are just that also, but goblins. That's just their natural state of being, is they're just horrible little fucks. And then they're horrible to each other and everyone else. They're horrible to each other when there's no one else to be horrible to.
Especially with the Space Greenskins, though, they're living in a completely different situation. The Dark Elves know once they torture a man to death, by and large, that soul is just getting torn apart by demons and shit in hell. The orcs, as far as they're concerned, well, when you die, you go back to the hive mind, and then you're born again, and then you get to fight some more. So torturing a guy to death is like, what, I fucked up your afternoon?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like,
Whereas the Dark Elves, they know what they're doing.
and at least for the like orcs or greenskins in general, they're hardwired to be that way.
Yeah.
Like, Dark Elves get to choose to be that way.
Yeah, they're not called Dark Elves because it's like the regular fantasy thing of like, we call them Dark Elves because they're the literal darker skinned elves. They're Dark Elves because they're dicks and they picked it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so we were talking in the last episode how GW are a bunch of cowards that don't bring up enough sex shit when it comes to Slanesh.
Right.
Yeah.
Not the case in the Dark Elf novels. They go pretty tits out pretty quick with that.
Yeah.
So like, not only so part of the inception of the Dark Elves in Warhammer Fantasy Battles is that basically demons showed up after the old ones fucked up. Like their little portal exploded and it let demons into the world and they fucked off quick. They're like, sorry guys, you're all dead, bye. And so that left basically elves, dwarves, and a few other species to fend for themselves. And basically, this hero from the elves called Onarian picked up the murder sword you're not supposed to use. He got really miffed, and he picked up the Sword of Cain and got possessed by the murder god, basically. He has an insatiable lust for killing and
That's what happens when you pick up the sword.
He's really good at it, and he really likes doing it.
Super tight.
And he ended up, being able to beat back the demons long enough for them to basically make a little succulation circle to suck off all the bad juju energy. It's called the Vortex. It's in the center of Ulthan. Elves saved the world. They literally did that. That's why high elves are so arrogant. It's because, actually, my ancestors a few thousand years ago are the reason why you're breathing, so you should suck my dick.
Hey, if they let the lizard men take care of it, it'd be fine.
Yeah, exactly.
They're the real heroes.
They're the true good guys. They're the dinosaurs. That's canon.
That's right.
That's fucking canon.
My boy Yoshi has us all covered.
Yes, sir. But so Onarian did all that shit, and then he ended up rescuing some elven seeress named Morathi. And Onarian lost his first wife. He takes Morathi as his second wife. Little does he know he has 2 children by the first wife that were hidden away. He thinks they're all dead, so he's really bitter and angry.
Wait, hold on. First of all, hold up as many fingers as the times that you've beat off to the Morathi mini.
Not even once. Not even once.
Really?
It doesn't do it for me. I like my women thick and short, not tall and lithe. Gross!
Disgusting whore!
I think it's funny how they always talk about her ethereal beauty, and I'm like, gross.
Disgusting.
I mean, Total War Warhammer did a pretty bang-up job.
I mean, ethereal beauty, that's like appreciating a sunset.
Well, yeah, bang-up job is the opposite. I
Giant
think,
snake woman.
yeah, God bless. But no, Total War Warhammer did a pretty good job of trying to make her like banging as hell. Like they pretty much nailed it. But even then, yeah, it's just not my taste. I'm not an elf fucker. I'm a poke fucker. God bless. No, but So yeah, Anarian fucking saves this bitch. And she's the worst, turns out. She's just the worst.
Yeah.
And he puts a baby in her. They have a son. His name is Malekith. And Malekith is kind of a cool guy. He's kind of a big deal. And Anarian was the first Phoenix King. He passes away. I forget how. It doesn't matter. And then there is we're trying to figure out, okay, who's going to be the next King of the Elves? Who's going to be the next guy that, like, takes over our high elf society? And it's between Malekith, his son, and basically, by all rights, should be the heir. But they're like, you know what? We don't want you to be entitled, so we're going to give it to this other guy. And Malekith was like, you know what? I'm going to go explore the rest of the world now that we saved it, so you all can go fuck yourselves. He ends up encountering the dwarves. They're pretty cool guys, and he ends up being the spearhead of, like, dwarf-elf relationships. Like King Gotrek Starbreaker and Malekith were best friends. Mm-hmm. And so Malekith does all this cool stuff in the old world, and, like, it's like, you know, gallivanting around, making elf colonies, really being a cool paragon of his civilization. While his mom makes an evil sex cult back at home.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, they go full tilt with it. Summoning sex demons to have blood orgies.
What's the win condition for the sex cult, Tony? It's pretty important.
Oh, wait.
She wants to fuck her son.
Yeah, well, so
what?
Yes and no. Yes and no. We'll get there. There's a lot of middle between this. So yeah. It's
Stay
bad.
tuned.
There's basically most of the highborn, most of the nobles are now indoctrinated in the cult of pleasure. It's literally verbatim, like not even any subtle, no cool names, no subterfuge. It's the cult of pain. You want to join the cult of pleasure? What do you guys do? We fuck and do drugs all day. Oh, pretty base. Let me go do that.
Oh my god! And it costs how much to join? Oh no, it's free. We're a cult. Oh,
yeah.
Hell yeah!
Said every highborn ever, basically.
Yeah.
So this shit is spreading like wildfire throughout all the provinces of Ulthan. It's a problem. It's a big problem.
Yeah.
It becomes such a big problem, they call Malekith home like, hey, can you handle your fucking mom? And he comes home and is like, Mom, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you fucking all our neighbors? And she's like, son, shut up. I'm your mother. Don't talk to me like that.
This is a no loads refuse jizz fest.
Yeah, it's a no-load refuse jizz fest. And Malekith's really pissed off about it, so we can start slaughtering them wholesale. He's like, I'm just going to kill every one of these cults because this is a problem, and I have to make up for this.
I imagine that it's
What a
like...
fucking buzzkill.
Right? What a fucking
Ew.
buzzkill.
I imagine that,
What a
like,
nerd.
he comes home and it's like it's a city, but, like, in the same way that you see, like, couples on the street, there's no couples on the street. It's just, like, that guy, those 5 people are fucking... There's just, like, crowds of people fucking each other, and everyone else has groceries and is just trying to get along. And he's like, well, this is untenable. I've got a sword, and we're solving this.
We're solving this now.
He investigates the pleasure cult, and what it goes back to is in elf Twitter, some guy was just like, oh, I guess I'm fucking jerking off to goblin Twitter.
It all comes back to Warhammer. It all comes back.
Of course, leading to the infamous
she's
War
like-
of the Beard, where they shaved the dwarves' pubes.
Bless. So basically, like shenanigans is afoot. I forget exactly what happens leading up to this point, but eventually, Malekith kills the Phoenix King. Mm-hmm. There's, I think, in one of the stories it wasn't intentional, but they frame it as if it was. He just kind of leans into it and is like, "Fuck it, I'm the Phoenix King now."
Like he might have been beating him up to be like, tell these people to stop fucking in the streets. And then, oops, that hit
"Fuck
something
you,
important.
nerd."
Yeah, I think, like, the Phoenix King accused him of being in on it, and Malekith got mad about it. It's like, bro, I've been slaughtering these guys all day. What the fuck are you talking about? I don't remember the exact...
And you were looking quite pleasured while doing it, Malekith. And he's like, okay, there's no reasoning with you.
So, yeah, I don't remember the exact thing. I'd have to brush up my lore, but basically, yeah. So he goes through the fires of Asurian to become the next Phoenix King, and he doesn't do it right. So he gets his soul burned, his skin burned. He just gets burned on a fucking conceptual level. He's just burned, and so his retainers drag him away, and they fuck off, and he becomes the first Dark Elf. But technically, Marathi is the mother of the Dark Elves, right?
Yeah.
So
Marathi looks at the camera. She's like, wink.
So they have their little. They had. I think up to this point they were already in civil war. I think it was full blown civil war. The province of Nagaroth, which is like the northern province, they all fuck off farther to the north, and the High Elves think, oh, good riddance, they're gone.
Yeah.
Nagaroth?
Yes.
No,
Nagaroth is the continent. They named North America basically Nagaroth. And I think Nagarond? No, fuck. Nagarythe. Nagarythe is the fucking one on Ulthan that's sunk. And then Nagarond is the actual one in the, like, the land itself.
Nagger.
Yeah,
Sorry.
we know.
Sorry.
We know. It's not subtle at all.
It's Mario's fault.
Listen. It was in the 80s. It was in the 80s. It was a different time.
It was a different
We gotta get some concessions, okay? I made my peace with it.
It was drunk British people.
Speaking of,
we gotta let it go.
I was very surprised that they almost dropped the N-bomb in Dragon Ball Z Abridged.
Nani?
What?
They had I started watching Dragon Ball Z Abridged because I wanted to travel back in time. But one of the
more wholesome.
One of the episodes they
Pokefucking.
fucking Gohan's reading Huckleberry Finn and he's reading it out loud and he keeps getting interrupted right as he's reading out the N-word out loud. And they do it like 3 times.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
That's some risky business.
The Japanese are based.
I was like, so
Gigabase.
there are like 5 times, and because this is like, you know, early 2010s humor, there are like 5 times where I'm like, what? Okay, we didn't go fully out there, but still, whoa.
They pushed the bar, man. The early 2000s pushed the bar. Mm-hmm. Like, the FCC were, like, lighting up the regulations, and people are like, well, how far can we actually go? You used to not be able to say, like, damn on TV, and now we can say shit and fuck, and no one cares, or do they? And then they just push that bar in the middle, where we're at now.
I was going to say the first episode
GW writes a book from the Black Library, and they're like, and they went to Nagaroth, and then Nagaron, and then Nagarine.
I was going to say the first episode of Game of Thrones has a brother and sister fucking each other to the point that they try to kill a child.
Yeah.
That's like an unbroken scene.
Speaking of brothers and sisters fucking, all right, going back to the Dark Elves.
Okay,
yes.
yes.
This is what we're leading up to. So, yeah.
Because I have to finish, so, like, I need you to finish this
God
one. So, I can
bless.
finish.
So, Marathi is the mother of the Druchii. She's the mother of the fucking Dark Elves. And Malekith's first order of business when establishing the Dark Elves were no sex cult. No, never, none, ever again. It's over. It's over, Mom. Okay? It's over.
I know that's why most of you are here today. Okay? But it's over.
I'm sorry. No more beating off to Goblin Twitter.
And they're like, well, we can't worship the fucking Assyrian and the pussy-ass elven gods, and we can't worship the sex demon, so who do we worship? Our official religion is the god of murder now. Deal with it. And it's been that way ever since. And so up to the point where the Mouse Darkblade series happens, like, so he steals that demon skull with his sister, his, like, half-sister, like, to fuck over their half-brother. And the reason why the sister's trying to fuck over the half-brother is he keeps trying to fuck me, and it's annoying.
That is pretty
Dude,
annoying.
the fucking Dark Elves are lousy with incest. It's egregious. It's like, they're all in on it. It's just a cultural norm, I guess.
My brother played this game when he was, like, 10 years old, and this is the fucking lore. My parents should have never. We should have burned
10-foot
the
pole.
shop down.
10-foot pole never touches Dark Elves. 10-foot pole. Never let your children read about the Dark Elves. It's bad.
No, they should be like, dragons are cool, and then they should never be like, and then this character. Oh no!
And then that dragon stuck his tail in her vagina, son.
Yeah.
Oh no!
No, son, you can't read this anymore. You should do something more wholesome.
But
Here,
yeah.
play Pokemon.
But yeah, so the sister basically helps him steal the skull. She dabbles. And it's revealed she dabbles in sorcery. You're not allowed to do that. So, like, basically anyone who's actually a sorcerer in Dark Elf society has to be a woman. No guys allowed, because I'm the Witch King. I'm the Giga Chad Elf.
Mm-hmm. Only one man.
Only lesser women can do magic, so no one can ever rival me. That's canon.
Love it.
And they all live in a convent, so they can't have any political intrigue. Yeah, very Giga Chad based. In the most ironic sense.
I'm the only one that fucks here.
So, yeah, all the sorcerers are ritualistically married to Malekith. They're always brides, technically. Like, yeah, it's just some crazy kink shit. It's bad.
Now get naked and do magic.
Just shits on their chests. It's
That's
part of the
not-
ritual.
that's
It's part of
not-
the ritual.
That's not magic at all, sir. Shut up!
Maybe not to you.
But yeah, no, so they steal this skull or whatever, and then, like, he ends up getting possessed by a demon, and he ends up coming back, and that's at the end of the first book is him getting possessed by a demon. The start of the second book is him coming back to the city using the demon's power to be able to do that. And they get to the gate, and it's the same gatekeeper, and he's still trolling him.
Right.
Like, there's a bunch of highwaymen about to kill him, and he's like, open the fucking gate! And they're like, maybe not, though. We're gonna see how it pays out. Anyway, and then he ends up becoming his retainer because they double deal that hard. They double deal so hard that the guy who took his money and let him get killed, and then didn't open up the gate for him, double deals like, well, actually, I'm doing you a favor. Oh, yeah, you're doing me a favor? Yeah, well, they're pretty mad about that skull you stole, so if I, open the gate, that would raise the alarm that people would know you're here, and there's an arrest warrant for you. I actually did you a favor. And Mouth is like, oh, actually, you did do me a favor. Fuck.
Oh, thanks, bro. Thanks.
Yeah, so the machinations, and it's there's so much intrigue, and it's crazy. But point being, he ends up getting killed for his transgressions.
Right.
Like he's a traitor to his people. He ends up dying, but because he's possessed by a demon, he doesn't fully die. And then his not sorceress sister resurrects him. And he's like, well, why'd you do that, sis? Oh, because I love you, big brother. No, false, fake news, not real.
Right, that's
right?
the opposite of her feelings.
And the whole time she's like, so did you find anything up in the Chaos Waste? Did you anything of a particular interest? And he's like, bitch, what the fuck do you know? And come to find out, he was possessed by a Slanesh demon. And she's taking a very great interest in this Slanesh demon. And Malekith's playing his hand like, I'm not going to tell this bitch anything. I got diamond hands. I'm going to hold on to all my information. I ain't going to tell her shit. She ain't going to learn shit. And so she's like, you know what? I'm really happy that you came home to One Piece with me. To me, I'm going to hold you a banquet to celebrate your return from the Chaos Waste. And he's like, no one has ever cared about me ever for a day ever. This is all completely fucking sus.
Anytime someone's holding a banquet for someone in some crazy, D&D story or Magic story, it's never a good thing.
Exactly. It only leads to travesty.
If I come over one day and Tony like, Jesse, I want to hold you a banquet, I'm running for my fucking
betrayal. Betrayal is
afoot.
So yeah, so she holds him this banquet.
Don't worry, you can leave your weapons at the door. Nobody will try anything.
Yeah, God, just so they hold him at this banquet, and he shows up, and there's a bunch of nobles there, dudes that are out of his pay grade, people I'm the lowest of the low because I'm a bastard of the Volcar.
Yeah, he's showing up is that Elon Musk?
Yeah, basically, yeah. He's seeing all the billionaires and shit of the city, all these big dick names, and he's like, I guess I finally made it in society, ha ha ha. And they just start fucking. They start slaughtering slaves and bathing in their blood and sucking each other's dicks.
This is exactly what I didn't want to happen.
Pouring wine on their tits, whole fucking 9 yards, and he's like, I can get used to this. And then come to find out, oh, brother, you're now indoctrinated to our Slanesh code. And he's like, beans!
Got me.
Yeah, exactly. You got me!
Again.
Is that why you had me sign that in blood and drink out of this chalice? He's still drinking out of a chalice.
Out of a skull, yeah.
And he's like, that's why? You bitch!
And then he says, you know what? Can you give me a day to think on it? He's like, can you guys give me a day to think on it before I fully accept? And they're like, actually, we didn't think you'd know. And he's like, well, you're going to give me a day. And they're like, fine, I guess. So he goes to his other half-sister, who is in
fucking for a second. Fine.
I imagine they just slow down, and they're all staring at him.
Well, it's even worse, because they go to, the head sex cult guy, and he's like, has your desires been sated by our orgy? And he's like, no. And he's like, you are truly touched by the she who thirsts to be unsated by our sex orgies.
I imagine that he hasn't gotten undressed at all.
He's just looking around, why is everyone
everyone just started fucking, and he's like, alright.
I thought we were going to a party. What the fuck is this?
Alright, they party hardy over here, I guess. This is cool, though. I get to be a billionaire now.
Wait, is that goblin porn? God damn it!
God.
He steps out and they're like, so how have you been enjoying the orgy? And
which would be especially offensive. It would be especially offensive to have goblin porn there because there are no sexy short stack goblins in Warhammer. They're literally just little shit smeared, gruntled monsters. So that would be really offensive pornography.
Yeah.
God,
they probably had it, yeah.
Yeah, they definitely had
100%
it. They definitely had it.
Might have had some goblins there.
So yeah, he ends
They're
up
scared as hell.
It cuts to him going
I don't know. They're fungus.
It ends up cutting him going to some arena and hanging out. And so he goes to meet his other sister, Yasmir. And Yasmir, so Nagaira was
Yasmir has a pretty funny name.
Yeah, pretty. It's definitely Elven.
Yeah.
But so Nagaira.
Yasmir's. Never mind. That's not a good joke.
Okay, yeah. So Nagaira, the staff sister that Dr. Nebula sex cult, she's pretty plump and has very, not sexy elf features. Yasmir is the epitome of the elf biddies. Like, she's lithe and thin and exactly what I'm not into.
Right.
But all of them are. So, and
these are my sisters, Denise and Galadriel.
Yeah.
Denise is a whore.
Fuck. But yeah, basically, like, she's been, like, playing hard to get with a bunch of nobles throughout the city and blah, blah, blah. But her main man that she's sworn to, of course, her older brother. Why wouldn't that be the case? Fucking Dark Elves and their incest.
Anime's crazy.
It's just ridiculous. So, Malkath is, like, schmoozing up to his older sister, like, oh, hey, Yasmir. And she's like, what the fuck are you doing here talking to me? And he's like, yeah, I wanted actually your favor in doing some stuff. And she's like, well, why the fuck would I do that? Because I'll kill my other brother, the one who keeps trying to fuck you, and then end up trying to fuck my other sister because you kept telling him no. All of these elves are trying to fuck their sisters. It's terrible.
This is the most elaborate setup to a porno ever.
I was going to say, this is just the plot of most anime.
Yeah.
God bless. But yeah, no, so we're getting to a point here, all right?
Okay.
This is a lot. I'm telling you a lot of stuff.
No,
we're getting to a point.
I'm here for
We're
the
getting
ride,
to a point
baby.
here. So he tells her, he says, hey, I'm going to go kill him so that he doesn't want to fuck you no more, and then you can have some peace of mind. She's like, that's a great idea. In fact, that's such a great idea, I'm going to tell you that he actually went to the stables where you put your mount, and he's going to kill you in like 5 minutes. He's like, what? And so he goes to the fucking stables, and a bunch of assassins try to kill him, and then the Hat brother shows up. He's a sorcerer. Malkath can't fight magic, so he's like, Malice can't fight magic, so he's like, oh, I guess I'm fucking dead. He's like, wait, brother, what if I told you that I could get you with our sister? Ha ha. And he's like,
I'm already fucking our sister. No, the other one.
Oh. Yeah, exactly.
Wait,
exactly.
Denise? You mean Denise? Tight.
No, Galadriel. Oh.
So, and then basically he comes to find out that the hit put on him was put on him by the wizard sister, the sorceress sister. This whole time, the one who wanted him dead was the sister that's supposed to be has best interest in mind. She was trying to back him into a corner to where you have to join the sex cult now. You don't got a goddamn choice.
Yeah,
and he's really mad about this. So they conspire, obviously, because that's what Dark Elves do. They conspire, connive, and scheme.
Yes.
And we cut to his indoctrination to the sex cult. He's like walking on some dildos or something. I don't know. Like,
right.
They're like jizzing everywhere. It's fine. And he's about to accept the thing, and all of the murder god cultists come in and just start going buck fucking wild. Just decapitating people, impaling people. You goddamn sex cultists gotta go! And they just start slaughtering them hand over fist.
In a game of magic, murder, sex, murder always beats sex.
Murder always.
Yeah, it's like rock, paper, scissors.
Exactly. Magic beats sex.
No, murder beats sex. Sex beats magic.
Exactly.
Magic beats murder.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's actually pretty dark elf. Rock,
it's a pretty hard game to play, though.
It is. It's difficult to have a hand in all three things.
Yeah.
And so, fuck, I forgot where I was going with this, but basically, like, it's just so. Oh yeah, so going back to like, Cain and Slaanesh fucking hate each other. Like, they've been at it for a while.
Yeah.
They were always murdering each other's cultists. It's always a bad time. Everyone's trying to fuck each other's sisters. And so we're gonna skip a little bit to a different thing. So in the end times, right? I was supposed to be making this point. I forgot where I was going to get to this point, so I'm just gonna skip to this point.
Okay.
So Marathi's big plan in the end times is to have Tyrion, who is the descendant of Anarion. Like I said, he had two secret children because he had Malkath with Marathi, but his first wife he had two children with, and they were like hidden away. So like his bloodline is still high elf through them.
Yeah.
And one of his descendants, Tyrion, during the end times, has a moment of desperation and picks up the Sword of Cain and becomes a badass dude. Like this, the worst kind of badass, toxic masculinity badass. I'm possessed by the murder god.
He's possessed by Vince McMahon.
And that was Marathi's plan all along. Her whole point of making Dark Elf society, of making sex cults and murder demons.
You all thought that this was a plot to fuck my son. But it wasn't. It was a plot to fuck Dun, dun, dun. My stepson!
Yeah, it was. It was all a plot to fuck her stepson. Because that's the closest I'll get to my Manonarian ever again. And so she literally switches sides and joins the High Elves by corrupting them into the Canine Elves to go fuck her stepson. Dark Elves.
Holy shit!
You all thought.
Dark Elves. It's ridiculous.
Thousands of years,
everyone's fucking-
millions of deaths.
Like, I hope their species doesn't have the same issues with inbreeding as humans do, or else there's just a lot of horse faces and teeth falling
I mean,
out
you
and
have
shit.
to assume that, like, I mean, you can't make the assumption that any creature is, like, going to flourish with inbreeding. What we have to assume is that we've never seen a not inbred elf.
That's what I'm saying, man. They're lousy with them.
Yeah.
Like, everyone's trying to fuck everyone else's sister. I hate it.
Meanwhile, cut to the Gretchen and the Red Gobbo. They can't kill an idea!
Literally. Yeah.
They stole the Red Gobbo for a sex party, but he's back with new ideas about how collectivism can work.
If anything, that's just ammunition as to why they need to succeed.
Yeah.
That is
We gotta
like,
get rid of these goddamn sex elves.
that is actually literally how one of the third Red Gobbo story ends. Is they topple a whole planet of orcs, the Gretchen, and then the main orc character who's you've been getting the perspective of the whole time is like he meets up with the Red Gobbos is this Gretchen called Goggles because
he wears goggles.
He held onto his goggles and they've destroyed fucking everything. They killed the war boss. Like they've won, and he's just like, this isn't gonna work, right? Like orcs are just gonna show up and kill you guys. And then Goggles is like, yeah, I know,
Yeah, tight. Cool.
but it's all right. Like we're just gonna do it again one day. Like then it'll just happen. We'll just keep doing this over and over and over again. We'll win eventually.
He's like, time is a flat circle.
Pretty much.
I mean, for them it is. They just keep getting in and out of the infinite cycles.
And this is what I love about
Karmic
40K
reincarnation.
and like AOS and the old world and all that shit is that like you have like the bad guys and you have the good guys, and then you find out the good guys are fucking degenerates and the bad guys are just pure, like, orcs just seem like Catholic schoolgirls next to these fucking dark elves.
By
It's crazy.
comparison, yeah. They literally sustain themselves off misery and suffering. That's about as evil as you get. Like,
It's Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon is the avatar of Kane.
oh, fuck, bro.
That's what that walk is.
That's the war dance of Cain. Oh, my God. All right, and with that, we're going to end the episode here. Thank you all so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, go ahead and give us a like and subscribe on YouTube with the channel Fanfare. You can go ahead and, if you have any ideas for an episode, you can tweet them at The Smug Grape on Twitter. And with that, have a great night.
Have a good night, everybody. Nice having you, Jesse.
Yeah, man, it's good to see you guys. This was cool.